Thank you guys for clicking on the video. I am Sully, and today, fellas, we're going to talk about tolerance. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Then I saw the Duck Dynasty story come out, and now it sort of pushed me into that edge, over that edge, but I'm not going to talk about what he said. I'm not really going to get into the nuts and bolts of that complicated engine, but I am going to talk about just the reactions that we should have and how the media portrays tolerance, and then how we're going to go to my OG friend, Webster, and he's going to tell us what the definition of tolerance is and how we should use the definition in our daily lives. So let's jump into tolerance and what this whole idea of tolerance is being used as today. Well, I would say one, it's being used incorrectly. And the idea of tolerance is that you should not only accept my viewpoint, but you should support them. And anything that is contrary to my viewpoint is wrong. And we've seen that happen in the media. You guys know that to be true. I can cite countless examples, but this idea that anything is contrary to a person's belief is suddenly not tolerant. That's how I think it's being portrayed. And you're seeing the consequences of that in everyday life. It's creating division. Go on Facebook. People argue so much, and they use rhetoric that is very angry, very hate-filled, because you're not accepting of my viewpoint. You not only have to accept it, but you should support it. And it's just, tolerance has been, I think, passed down as this idea that we should all support and love each other's decisions, and we shouldn't judge one another. That's what tolerance is being used as. That we should love everyone's decisions. We shouldn't discuss different viewpoints. We should just agree and get along and move along. Now, in theory, that might sound like a utopia, and it might sound better than steak and potatoes. But let me tell you something, it's not that good, because what we're seeing is that people are going to have different opinions. It's only natural in life that, people are going to have different opinions. For example, I may say Ovechkin's a great player and he is doing excellent right now, but you may say he sucks and Crosby's better. And on a small scale, that's very insignificant. And, but if we can't discuss that, how can we move on to bigger issues, whether it's life, politics, all the gray things that people don't want to talk about? The reason why they don't want to talk about those things is, I think, because they don't know how to handle the discussions once they come up. And so we want to have this idea of move along, or get along to move along. And so I want to talk about, just if we continue on that path, what that will lead to. And I think we're sort of seeing it. All it creates is this idea of acceptance of one another. I think it dumbs us down as a society, because we don't know how to communicate ideas that are different and express them in a kind manner without, we have to be so careful of offending another individual that the idea gets muddled in that communication. And once ideas get muddled, then I think true progression is lost, and it can't happen. And so I think if we just get along to move along, we're building a very extremely sensitive group of people that can't discuss different ideas. And I know I lost my train a little bit, thinking about this in my head, but I genuinely do believe that, guys. If we can't communicate with each other effectively about different ideas, then we are going to lose progression as a group of people. And you're seeing it again, the hate rhetoric between different groups of people, and not being able to understand tolerance because they say you're not tolerant of my idea. And so I want to talk about what tolerance is according to that OG down in the hood, Webster. So Webster talked, and the definition is very key. The language is extremely key in this definition. I know this might be boring, but stay with me. Come on, we're almost home. The definition of tolerance is, here we go: a sympathy or indulgence for beliefs or practices differing from or conflicting with one's own. Let's use another definition down here. The allowable deviation from a standard, especially the range of variation permitted in maintaining a specified dimension in wow, okay. Well, I'm just going to stop there. But the point of that definition is there. all right, of the allowable deviation from a standard, and then it said colon, so that's where it ends. So let's talk about the first one, a sympathy or indulgence for beliefs. Now, real quickly, I'm going to use this example. Women, when they work out or they lose, a certain amount of pounds, they tend to reward themselves, right? They'll eat chocolate ice cream, they'll get all fat. Well, not fat, but they'll eat chocolate ice cream and kill that workout. But they want to reward themselves for their hard effort and discipline, right? And they'll say, I'm going to indulge myself in chocolate. But that's a special, that's an occasion. That's not, indulgence is not eating it every day. The woman's not going to eat chocolate every day. Because it wouldn't be an indulgence. It's not a reward, or it's not, again, it goes back to that second definition, it's not an allowable deviation from the standard. And so what tolerance, in my opinion, if you take those two definitions, is it's an accepting, but it's not adopting. And I think that's where the world has really lost tolerance, is that people want tolerance to be adopting, that you take on that belief. And I think that's what I sort of failed to communicate in my first, sort of section of this, is that, the world says if your beliefs are different than mine, you have to be tolerant by adopting, and that is not tolerance. And again, it's the indulgence. An acceptance does not equal support. And this goes very easily, I think a great example, in closing, is just, let's use religion. It's a very easy example. I, for example, am a Christian. I will not throw that away. I will not run away from that. But if someone's an atheist, I accept that you're an atheist. Does that mean that I'm then going to be an atheist? No. But I'm willing to discuss. I have talks with people about why they're atheists. I like to discuss that. I like to get into the nuts and bolts, because it helps me think out my own, religion, my beliefs. I love talking to atheists because it's good rhetoric and it helps me. But if they don't agree, that's no sweat off my back, I'm not going to get all mad and worked up, but I like the discussion, thinking that out. And I think we sort of lost that as a group of people, is that we have to have different, all have the same opinions, and we don't know how to discuss with respect without necessarily agreeing. And so I think tolerance is just talking it through, having that indulgence, talking out, oh, you believe that, let's talk about that. Oh, you think Crosby rocks compared to Ovechkin, and Ovechkin sucks. Well, let's talk that out. Let's discuss that on a small scale. That's an example. You can accept that he thinks that Ovechkin sucks, but that doesn't mean I have to believe Ovechkin sucks. And so I think, guys, that you've seen the consequences, that we're creating division with this false idea of tolerance rather than community. And I think respect, acknowledge, and discuss should be how you view tolerance, and not believe, anger, and hatred. Because I think that's where we're moving if we don't get back to what the definition of tolerance is, and practicing, again, respect, discuss. I forgot what I said. Oh my gosh. I'll go back and play it. But again, respect, discuss, acknowledge. I think that was it. But you guys, you've heard it. You heard what I said a few moments ago. And I think, guys, that's where we need to move. Instead of, this believe everything I believe, and if you don't, we can't move forward. And so let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry I've been trying to do this. I tried this commentary for like 4 times. I botched it. I didn't come up with a good example. So let me know what you guys think. I'm really interested in your thoughts on tolerance and how you see it now. Are we having a good idea of tolerance? Do you think that we have this under control, or do you guys think it's out of control like me? And do you think we've differed, or not differed? Well, yeah, we've differed from the definition of tolerance. So let me know. Hope you guys have a great day. I am Sully. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. God bless.